My name is Jasmine Sherman, and I'm trying to earn your nomination. I think one of the most important things that we can do right now as Greens is enact our fury on the system that has been keeping us all down. It is time that we put policies together that young people want to hear. We do not need to keep making people pay rent and mortgages. There are ways to cover that without hurting the American person. We need to give land back. We need to eliminate property tax so education is properly funded. What I'm proposing is guaranteed housing, universal health care, free education, universal basic income, and more importantly, every policy that I've discussed isn't a dream. On my website at jasminesherman.com, you learn how we make this a reality. Similar to the way we are currently building Joe Biden's border wall, is the same way that I can give you health care, housing, and education.
Get everyone together in America together, grow stronger for the better, living in America
Together.
Ah, come on, let's try it again. Get everyone
Together
in America together, grow stronger for the better, living in America
together.
We made it. We made it to the presentation of a core solution for our society with no room for complaints. For we have the opportunity to vote for equality today and for this year, present to our country the chance to break free from these chains that we have been allowing ourselves to be in. I am Davi, Artist Tech Founder, 2021 candidate for mayor of New York City, and Avatar of Earth in New York City, 2020. I vow to ensure the safety, protection, harmony, and natural evolution of Earth and humanity. I'm running to earn your vote in 2024 as President of America and leader of the free world, and I'm seeking the Green Party's presidential nomination. My areas of focus include providing healing-oriented support for those ailing in body, mind, and/or behavior, finding harmony and balance between usage and contribution to Earth. Secondly, the American Refresh, a 4-year transition where through paced collective voting, Americans vote for the exact government that we want moving forward, intentionally managing the growth of technology. Thirdly, the mediator wing of the police, an emergency mediator wing of the police that on demand mediates tough situations and conversations without guns, batons, or slow court dates. I encourage you to read the full campaign plan at buy.week.com, también en español. The red and blue, election after election, have proven to the American voter their commitment to war and disaster, and their missing commitment to the core principles of humanity and the preservation of Earth. But that is just a choice. We can make another. I'm here to present another choice of vision called Earth Order, direct democracy with an online voting system that allows us to ongoingly vote for the exact government that we want moving forward. Equal salaries for self-created or self-chosen work, where all have access to quality housing through a home exchange, where all healthcare costs are covered.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jill Stein. I know many of you, and this is the moment we've been waiting for. America is in revolt. People are tired of being thrown under the bus by wealthy elites and their bought politicians and the parties of war on Wall Street that represent that very corrupt system that has basically thrown us all under the bus. And I have to say, what we're bringing to this discussion right now is really what we as Greens have been developing. We have been ahead of the curve. The curve has caught up to us. We were right in the year 2000 when Ralph Nader put Medicare for All, at the time called Care, we put it on the table. In our first run in 2012, we put student debt abolition, a bailout, whatever whatever you want to call it. We need to end student debt, make public education a right, including higher education, a right for free. We put reparation for slavery on the national agenda in 2012, as well as a Green New Deal and solving the crisis of the climate and the crisis of our economy. They're really one and the same. We put that on the table nationally in 2012 as well. And demilitarization. All of these are really at absolutely critical terminal levels right now. It's like we are looking at the end of time, no matter what direction you look. The 50% right now of renters who cannot afford to pay their rent, who are stressed, paying more than 30% of their income. So I'm going to wrap here, but just say this is the opportunity of a lifetime. And the critical question in my mind is, how are we going to do this together? And what I really want to lay out is the opportunity we can seize right now, because the Green Party candidate will be the one and only anti-war, anti-genocide, pro-worker, climate emergency option on the ballot across the nation. It's us, so no pressure. This is the opportunity of not just a lifetime, but really of our era and of humanity. So I really look forward to talking about how we are going to make this happen in this election.
I want to bring power democracy back into the hands of the Commonwealth. American people don't have a value. Their vote doesn't count. And we're living in a facade democracy. So re-strengthening that, re-educating the people, enlightening them to take action, to make this change and move forward. You know that they're lying to us. We're being deceived, coerced, manipulated, redirected. And we have to take this opportunity that is failing into our hands. But I want to strengthen the American public and educate you that you do have a value. You do have, your vote does count. But in order to make these happen, we got to reform. We got to repetition and reinitiate the people to move forward. I want to strengthen the homelessness. Our disparity at home is where it lies. We get rid of homelessness. We have to get rid of drugs that are on the streets. We safeguard our children to move forward. We re-strengthen education so we have a future. We got to close our borders and re-strengthen what we do have now. If we don't, the ship is sinking, and it will. We're losing our deficit is crumbling. So reforming the Social Security system and getting people back into the workforce. Our economy is struggling. We have a lot of people out of work. Where are the jobs? Our infrastructure needs to be re-strengthened. Our military has to be strengthened. We got to diffuse the BRICS alliance with Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, and China. So we need to take a seriousness. We need someone who's strong, who's aggressive, and has a practical experience to bring these measurements forward. I need your support. But again, it's your vote. It's your opportunity. It's your chance to move forward. So I say this as your next presidential candidate, vote for me, George Zavala. Thank you.
And now we're just going to go into the town hall portion, and then we'll get into Q&A, and you can get deeper into all of your policies at that point. I come from the Young Greens and the Rainbow Coalition. I wouldn't label myself as a classic green voter. How would you access that untapped potential with the Rainbow Coalition and youth vote to get out and mobilize, especially in Massachusetts, to get those signatures for ballot act.
So I was very much a part of the merger of the Rainbow Party and the Greens, and have also advocated to preserve that in our name and our agenda and our actions. So believe me, I am extremely thankful for what the rainbow brings to the Greens. Without the rainbow and the rainbow agenda, we don't want to be the European Greens. We don't want to be the German Greens. We don't want to be the pro-war Greens. We don't want to be the neoliberal Greens. That is not us. You know, within the National Party, we have contemplated leaving the global Greens because that is not us. That is not who we are. In this country, we have really evolved, and we have really learned as a party, for those who didn't know it to start with, that without justice, without equality, there is no saving the environment. You know, the environment is not different. This is about justice. This is about climate justice. It's about healthcare justice. It's about economic justice. You name it. This is about justice across the board. And I am so grateful to the young people who've come along with this clear vision, because so many who have my color hair think they are seeing the world through yesterday's eyes. Yesterday's eyes. And that's really unfortunate, because yesterday's agenda and yesterday's action is over. It's over. And it's really important that we be working with the young energy and spirit to guide our way forward. We really have to do this together. Those of us who've been around the block know some tricks of the trade, and we need to advantage our younger generation coming up with those tricks of the trade, so that we are making a very powerful intergenerational coalition in which generational justice is a key fact. That is a key reality, because generational injustice is as big as any injustice right now in our world today. And we could rail on about that for a long time, I'm sure, and there's much to be said. But I think we have to go forward knowing that we got to do this together. There's no doing it separated. They want us to be divided and conquered, and the only way for us to do this is together.
Could Jorge, Davi, and I answer that question while we're all on the topic real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, just to verify, the question was how to bring young people in to join the Greens when they're not traditionally. The way we bring young people into our party is talking about issues young people care about. Right now, young people are living paycheck to paycheck. Right now, young people are trying to figure out where they put their aging parents, because we're so poor, and our parents, as they get older, are going to need that care. Those are the things that younger people are talking about. Younger people are talking about universal basic income. Younger people are talking about other issues, and we need to start talking about those same issues. The way we attract younger voters is being on all social media platforms. The way we attract younger voters is being authentic. That doesn't mean not giving them access to you. Younger people want to talk to their elected officials today. We already have politicians that don't hold town halls. We already have politicians that we are protesting to hear our voices, and they ignore us. So when you want to bring young people into this party, you need to be doing things that matter to young people. Not to say that the older voter is not relevant, but the older voter wants to bring us into what you're doing. And the oldest population right now is the fastest population suffering from houselessness. So if you want to get the younger voters, let's tackle human rights, housing, trans safety. We have to be doing more than sentiments. You have step-by-step plans available at jasminesherman.com. You don't need the ideas. You need to know what you do day one.
Thank you.
You can let Jorge go.
Okay, and we also had Randy join the chat virtually too. So
Hey,
Randy will also participate too. So we have another friend.
Good afternoon. I am in Florida. It is approaching 65 degrees here. I see it was like 15 degrees with 1 below wind chill. We've had a lot of things going on. I think the question here was how to get young people involved in the party. And I can say this, 40 years ago, listen to this, 40 years ago, I was the first Green to register with the Federal Elections Commission. And here I am today before you, still working hard. And I want all of the young people to have the same commitment of 40 years with the Green Party. We need to mainstream the Green Party. That's very key, my friends. And that's what will attract the young voters. Randy, over.
Thank you, Randy.
George?
We need to gain a relationship. We need to have communication. And we need to be able to relate to support the youth. They need to have projects.
Selected. Recents. Tab. 2 of 5.
They got to have projects that they can work on and that they can grab a hold onto. A lot of the young children now, or the young group, they're not equipped. They're not trained. Their confidence is down. So in order to support somebody, to give somebody some value, we need to listen to their concerns, you know, how to strengthen them. But these projects are bringing green, new methods, practices, and technology can be brought across the whole board, that the young groups have something to gain and to prove and give themselves value and credibility and give back into the economy and support themselves. Then we have something going on here. But we got to put fuel to the fire. We got to spark it some more a little bit here. We got to give them something to gain on. Are we being leaders? Are we educating what we can? And I know a lot of us are. But actions speak louder than words. It really does. So taking that time and listening to the youth is something I think it's missing. Do we really know what their concerns are? Being at home, finding a job, being on drugs, finding a girlfriend, or whatever it is, they're not finding value, direction. So in order to support and give future to America, we need to look towards them, and we gotta give them projects. We gotta teach them how to create ceramics, how to create new technical, graphics. They gotta innovate, cognitive skills. So this is what I'm saying in order to gain the relationship back, we got to get off our horse and work with them.
Thanks, George.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Davi?
You attract young greens by voting for me. Next.
Giving nature rights will help defend it against polluters and loss of habitat. How will you incorporate rights of nature into your campaign?
I'm giving the land back to the indigenous populations that owned it before it colonized. You can also look up, my VP is Tanda Bluebear. They have been working on the front lines, helping indigenous people maintain the housing that our government has shifted them in, and the houseless. So we take that very seriously. We'll be giving the land back.
And there is more to rights of nature. Land back is very important, but there are also lots of legal decisions made on, on land that is not that in contest right now. That's not about to be given back. There's enormous destruction. There's destruction of our waters and our oceans and our fisheries and our ecosystems. So land back is absolutely critical. But we can't stop with land back. There need to be real reforms here. And there are, third world countries. Is it Bolivia? I'm not sure where else, but there are countries who have moved forward with a whole legal framework that enables nature and the rights of nature to be protected by our legal system, our legislation, and our courts. And that's absolutely critical. Thank you for that.
I want to answer the Earth question first because that's my heart. So Earth has provided me this vision. I'm not, I was never, this was something that was called to me to do. Basically what I am focused on is providing contribution and usage of Earth, right? So if we begin to understand what the relationship balance is with Earth, then we can have a harmonious humanity, because Earth needs to provide for us, and we need to understand what Earth needs in order to provide for us the best. We kind of live in this world where science is catching up to what is actually innate to us. And so if we begin to understand some of the innate homeopathic and herbal technologies that are available to us, we can then move on as a community.
And I believe we have one more question right here.
We're talking about ballot access.
Great.
And how many you have to get and different people. I just want to get to the power.
So we are on 20 ballots now, but way more than, so 20 is less than half of the states. But those 20 include the most difficult states, including Texas and California, each of which cost millions of dollars in order to basically do that work and get ballot. So we have 75% of the work done.
Jasmine?
So I am with the Unicorn Party, the Peace and Freedom Party, already on 10 state ballots without the Green Party. Adding in the Green Party's 38, I will be able to get a lot closer. And we already have indigenous groups working to get us in Alaska because we don't have ballot access as the Green Party in Alaska. That was lost. But we are getting it back independently with the other groups that I'm coalition building. I have the only strategic plan to all 50 states.
And I'll just say,
Davi, would
Right,
you like to
'cause I-
answer the question?
Sorry.
Thank you.
No, it's fine. In terms of gaining ballot access, the Green Party needs energy. When we do, we energize people and ballot access becomes a side piece to the fact that we are a respected and beloved community that is moving our humanity and our nation forward.
You're talking about the ballot, but what happened in California where you're the only one on the ballot and the people don't
They
even
don't
know?
want us to talk about that, George. They don't want us to talk about that. I'm just preempting it. He's
Right,
bringing up
but-
what happened in
Well, we gotta
California.
have some transparency, which we're.
They
if we're
already ran
speaking about
it.
being fair and equal. What happened about being on the
Randy
ballot?
Stack.
It's not stacking, we're not in a.
Okay.
Do you want us to talk about California while Jill is still here, or are we pretending?
Well, we're talking about the ballot, how fair and equal it is, and we're.
They don't want to talk
ballot.
about California.
Right,
Randy Stack here. Guys, okay, 30 years ago, three
So that it
decades
doesn't
ago,
take the whole.
3 decades ago, guys, I got on the ballot for Senate with 150 votes while in front of the Huntington Beach Library. Mike
well,
Feinstein and other
Rob-
people knocked me off, and they knocked me off
I-
again in California. What's going on here, guys? Randy, over.
So I actually need to be educated on California. So let's do a quick round robin on California.
Let Jorge go first. Brought it up.
Okay,
Yeah,
Jorge.
yeah.
George, please lead
Right.
the round.
Well, we're supposed to have equal and fair rights for the whole thing of the Green Party is what? Our movement and our direction is to get people up there and support them. Now, the voters in California didn't even know all these emails weren't sent out. They suppressed everybody that was participating. I was trying to be, I'm jumping through all the hoops and loops, and they didn't know support this, and all of a sudden, Stein's, no one's able to speak. Stein's on top. She didn't fulfill anything. They just gave it to her. They're criticizing everyone else about this and this and that. But and I'm like, what is this? They're favoring.
Okay, George, let me just summarize for
Like a
everybody, okay? So just very
round
quickly,
robin.
we, JS had not actually announced publicly that she was going to be running, and the information was due to submit to the, it was a conference that they had in September, in October. What?
Just
Oh, okay.
Louder, a big room to
Right,
fill.
okay. In October, they had a meeting and they decided that JS would be the only candidate on the ballot for California, kicking all of the other candidates off of the possibility of being on the ballot for California. So that's where we are right now. And later on, JS announced her candidacy, and we still have not had the chance to be added to the ballot. Yes.
So I am on the ballot in California.
Right.
I am running for president of the United States, and I'm building coalitions to do it. If the Green Party chooses not to practice fair elections in certain states, then we will go around you, because what we are doing is bigger than us individually. It is for the kids that are dying. It is for the adults that are dying. It is for the teenagers that are dying. It is for the people that are being persecuted. So even though the Green Party chose to put Jill Stein on the ballot and she allowed this to go on, she didn't make any kind of that's not fair or anything, because she just told you she only started running 8 weeks ago. I have been contacting, my staff has been contacting local Green parties around the country since August of 2023. However, because of who your heads are and because not enough people are active in their local parties, it's usually one person in charge of that listserv. So you don't get my emails. You don't get the flyers we send you. You don't get all of the work that all of these other candidates have put into it because one person controls the email and they decide how it goes. So most of you think that we are brand new and we popped up, but no, I was at the convention letting people know that I was running for president in 2023 in August. And I was there when I said, I am going to be on all 50 states ballots because what we are doing is bigger than all of us. So I went to another political party because I'm coalition building. So I am on the ballot in California. My staff and I are that smart to navigate in spite of people who are not acting in good favor. That's my thought on that.
Good response.
Let's see, may I,
Yeah.
speak? Is there anybody
Yeah.
else want to be?
You are part of the round.
Yes, I would like to respond to that.
Yeah,
Oh,
go
okay.
ahead.
So Randy Toler here.
We're not having a conversation. So,
Is this allowed?
Yes, you should be heard.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I am co-founder of the California Green Party. I got accreditation with the Secretary of State with the Kansas ballot access. I did not pursue a suit to challenge that, but I'm telling you straight up, I should have been on the California ballot. I mean, goodness, people, 99% of my Twitter followers are mass media. These other candidates here, except for Jill Stein, I have not seen one single mass media article about that. Randy, over.
That's because you're not looking, Randy.
Right, you're just not looking.
You're not
but-
looking.
so-
Black voices are ignored every day in
Five
this
minutes
country.
for press
You're
release.
not looking.
Make
Okay,
statements like
so
that.
So
just
Jill wants to round
keep us
robin.
going,
yes.
so California, if you've ever dealt with California Green Party, they have a very concerted state process. They have a process, they have rules. And when we entered the race, we were told no one met their criteria and they were not placing any of the Green Party candidates on their ballot. So it's not like we bumped anybody off the ballot. They said nobody met their criteria.
I met the criteria. I was the only one that met the criteria.
We are,
Don't turn his volume down. Just tell him to stop speaking. Don't
All
touch
right.
his phone.
All right.
That's not fair.
so we
Yeah.
cannot have this
That's messed
discussion
up.
without California. So this is just a hypothetical. California makes decisions. They are a proud and strong Green Party. They are one of the most organized Green parties. And let's say the Green Party is not a perfect organization, but if you look at all the other independent non-corporate parties that have ever been launched, from the Labor Party, which launched at the same time that we did, but with a whole lot more money and infrastructure. If you look at the Justice Party, launched by the mayor of Utah, who was in the 2012 race, he launched a party. If you look at the Citizens Party, if you look at the first environmental party that was launched, they last about 10 years and then they are over because it is a very steep upward battle to survive as an independent and non-corporate party, because you will be smeared, you will be denied funding, you will be denied coverage, you will not be seen or heard. Most parties fold. There is one exception. That is the Green Party. We have managed to survive. We have a lot of work to do on our party structures, but there are some state parties that are alive and well and that keep going. California is one of them. They have their process. I encourage you, try telling them to change their process. It's not an easy thing to do, and many of us have tried for many years. So I don't think we can have this discussion without having California here.
But do you believe in democracy?
Well, I believe in democracy, but I
You.
also believe, yes, and I believe in
So
organizations
why wouldn't
as
you,
part of
why wouldn't you
democracy.
ensure that we all are on the ballot
I
then?
respect every party's ability to decide their own process.
Oh, okay.
And you can,
No
yes,
problem.
that's right. And that should be a democratic process.
Oh, okay.
It should be approved.
Especially
So
if it
it's-
benefits you only.
Well, I'm
Right.
sorry, this was established
I don't
long
think,
Guys,
so I just want to
let's, like,
clarify
let's
that.
just
No,
move
no,
on.
wait, like, no, because
on.
like, this is,
Guys.
hold on one
a
second.
helpful
Guys,
conversation.
It is a very helpful
Let's not
conversation.
embarrass the
It's-
party
Oh.
with this kind of infighting that is small can be handled off the prime time. We need to talk
Oh.
about what's relevant to voters out there and
Okay.
how we are going to grow the party and step back from the race
It's
that we are
obvi-
all at right
we're
now.
obviously not gonna,
Randy Toler, I want to jump in. I'm
I just
co-founder,
wanted people to understand that a lot
co-chair
of
of
candidates
the
are really hard
So
to get on
I'll
the
be
ballot.
the
glad-
Florida Green Party here.
Then
And I can
I'll
say,
let-
to everybody, the Florida
for
Green Party
whatever
will make sure everybody gets on the ballot that deserves to be on
Let
the
me just-
ballot. Randy,
There
over.
are final questions before I have to go.
I just want to say
And
that
make sure
people-
that we are on the ballot across the country.